are going to now talk about making an effective presentation, or what we call as presentation skills. In my program, I have mentioned about each and every almost lecture, try to relate it with the skills. Skills means you have to practice, and practice can only, if you want to learn a skill, you have to practice. So making a good presentation is also a skill. And as I mentioned, there are two types of skill, cognitive as well as psychomotor. And to hone a skill, you require a lot of practice and understanding. After covering the basics of communication skills, I am now coming to specifically for the classroom applications of communication skills as applied to teachers. My dear friends, this topic on presentation skills is very dear to my heart for two reasons. Number one, each one of us have to make presentations in the classroom. Whether we make use of some audio visual aids or we make oral presentations. It can be oral lecture, it can be a audio visual aids, it can be a lecture using the PowerPoint. Nowadays, PowerPoint is very commonly used. So I will be giving you some hints about how to use the PowerPoints also in this presentation. But then nevertheless, we have to, each one of us have to, on one occasion or the other, have to make a presentation. Any small speech or any big speech, when you are formally talking to the audience, is a presentation. In fact, I like to broaden the word presentation, not limiting it to the classroom or any formal setting also. Even in the interviews, when the students are going to appear for a placement, they are going to present themselves. And even if when we are going to the, let us say a party, maybe a dinner party, maybe a marriage or anywhere, we like to see that we are presentable. Yes or no? So at every time, let us say every time, the students also like to come to the class in a presentable way. If he is not presentable, you would try to point it him out. And many of the companies, when they make selections, especially I know so very well that the top-notch companies which are offering very high packages to the students, they have different rounds of selection, right from the resume to the interview, starting from the resume to the personal interview, PI. But in between also, some of you may be surprised to know that they have 4 to 6 or 7 rounds through which the student have to go through. When they are going to select your students for such a good placement, for offering them good packages, they want really to the best of the students to be in their company. And some of the companies during those rounds also have a round of presentations. Besides how you present your resume, how you present yourself in the GD, how you present yourself in the interview, there is a specific round. Some of the companies see that whether you are able to make a presentation or no, how good you will be in the presentation. Why? Because when your students are going to be placed in that company, every day in and out, whatever proposals you have, when they're working in the company, whatever proposal he or she will be having, he or she will have to present to his or her team members, to the seniors, to the juniors, and to the clients also. Are you with me on this? The employees have to make presentations within the company also to the senior, juniors, team members, and they also have to make presentation to their potential clients. So they want to make sure that you, whether besides all the technical and other skills, soft skills, they like to see whether your students are having the presentation skills or not. And my dear friends, I will really very much appreciate if you kindly share this information with your students also, so that they are always in a presentable shape and they're able to present the things, whatever they want to say, they should be able to say with the confidence and with the minimum amount of accuracy and facts. So with these words, with this brief introduction, I will like to now go ahead with my presentations. The goal of any presentation, my dear friends, is this: that you want your audience at the end of the session, they should be in this body language. Your audience should have this cheers in their face, and they should be giving you a round of applause also. Why not? This is our goal. And beneath it, I have written one quotation here. A good orator can speak on anything. A great one on nothing. Now, I hope you have understood the purpose of my this quotation. If you have a small content, आपके content में आपकी बहुत ज़्यादा mastery नहीं भी है, but you are a good orator, you can make still an impact on the audience. And if you have no content at all, but you're a very good presenter, you can still be a good presenter. You can still make a great impact on that. As Madam Archana was saying, I am not discounting the importance of contents here though, but then if you have very good contents and you are not a good presenter, you are not able to present your things well, that will go a waste. And then you have to cut a sorry figure. Let me give you a brief outlines of my presentation here. Preparation and practice. I will talk about how to prepare for a presentation and how to practice for that. Tone and body language. I will not go deeply into that because we already had sessions on nonverbal communication. I will skip some of the slides here. Then perfect PowerPoint, how to some tips on how to make a good PowerPoint. Then flip charts and whiteboards. In certain cases, especially in many industries, they are using the flip charts, and in the classroom we use the whiteboards also, or the blackboards. So we'll be talking about that a little bit. Then facing nervousness and fears. Believe me, each one of us feel nervous, and that nervousness is necessary. It helps you, it works as a motivator to do better and to do more practice and prepare better. But then over nervousness can also affect our presentation, and it can be fatal to our presentation also. How to overcome the nervousness and fears. Then dealing with questions and interruptions. At the end of the presentation or during the presentation itself, if there are interruptions or there are questions, how to handle the questions. I have a very beautiful formula for this. I like to share that formula with you, and it has worked tremendously well in many situations, especially in the presentations and in the PI also, personal interviews also. My dear friends, I'm going to start my presentations here with 4 quotations. Being a student of communication skills, I like to read the literature, and I have taken this 4 quotations from the persons from the literature. Mark Twain, people from the literature will appreciate, he is a great person. If you understand this 4 quotation, my 60 to 70% job is done on the presentation skills. Now, Mark Twain said, it takes more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. You know the meaning of impromptu here? Anyone in the class here, in the studio here? Extempore. If you are asked to give a speech, extempore, impromptu, you require 3 weeks of time to prepare for that. Now, Mark Twain said this. What I am trying to say is, preparation is the key to a successful presentation. If you are not prepared well, even if it is a small speech, if I have to propose a vote of thanks, I have to introduce somebody, I have to say only 2 sentences. Impromptu, but you're expecting that I may be asked to do that. Try to prepare very well. If somebody has done very good in his or her presentation, be sure that he or she has prepared very well for it. I have rarely come across a person that he has not prepared for his presentation and he did a wonderful job. No, he or she would always. Most of the speakers coming over here, they have been preparing day and night. I have been interacting with them on daily basis, and we'll be talking about that a little more in detail. But let us try to understand this quotation very well. It takes more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. So never go unprepared. Number 2 quotation is by one of my again favorite author, G.B. Shah. He said, the biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has been accomplished. Again, the hidden meaning is clear to everyone. There will always be a gap between the sender and the receiver. Always, always. And when I make a presentation in the class, I have an illusion that my student have understood whatever I wanted to say in the class. This is only an illusion. Be sure, know it very well that there is going to be a communication gap. And if you are aware of this gap, which is likely to be, which is the case in most of the cases, then you will keep on trying to bridge up that gap. Let there be minimum conceptual and perceptual gaps between what you want to say and what your students are able to understand. What is an effective communication? When there is a minimum gap between the sender and the receiver. And it's a dynamic process. The receiver becomes the sender and you become the receiver becomes the sender and you become the receiver. So there are going to be some gaps due to any reasons, due to any barriers. If you are aware of this that gap, then you will keep on bridging that gap. Then the communication will be more effective. So the biggest problem with the communication is the illusion that it has been accomplished. Whatever I want to say, they have understood. No, they have not understood. Know it very well. So try to bridge this gap. So this is the second thing in the presentation skills you keep in mind. Number 1 was preparation. Number 2 is be aware of the gap between you and your receiver. Their mental blocks, their physical gaps, there can be psychological gaps, any number of gaps can be there. The things which look so concrete to you may be very, very abstract for your students. Yes. The third quotation is by W.B. Yeats. It says, I always think a great speaker convinces us not by force of reasoning, but because he is visibly enjoying the beliefs he wants us to accept. I give you 30 seconds to absorb this quotation. This is a very beautiful quotation. Again, about the presentation. Kindly read it again. Yes, you got the meaning? Can anybody in the class tell me what does it mean?
Sir, इसका जो मुझे समझ में आया है कि वो खुद एक एग्जांपल बन के मतलब उसे देखकर ही हमें पता चल रहा है कि what actually he is trying to convince us is true.
Okay.
ना कि बार-बार बोल के जो.
Okay. Somebody else?
Sir, actually, when we say something, then initially we must have that self-belief that I am true to myself, and only then we can be true to our audience.
Yes, you are very close. Brad want to say something?
I think that this means that the speaker, the view that the speaker is trying to deliver, he has a great conviction on that.
Yeah, I was looking for that word which Brad has mentioned. If you have a conviction, have no doubt in your mind and your heart what you want other people to accept, hopefully they will accept what you are saying. If you have an element of doubt, element of lack of conviction in your own mind, then your presentation will not be that forceful. मेरे को खुद ही वो प्रिंसिपल या फार्मूला या इक्वेशन या कोई भी चीज अपने आप में डाउट हो रहा है, मैं बच्चों को कन्विंस करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि ये ऐसे होता है, तो माय प्रेजेंटेशन विल बी नॉट दैट इफेक्टिव. Thank you very much, Brad sir, and all of you are said, in your way, but I wanted to reach so it said that whatever reasoning you will go becomes secondary if you are not enjoying it. Means you are not entertaining that belief in your own beliefs are not very strong, then you will not be able to make a good presentation. In your presentation, whatever you say it from your heart, true to your own self. And then true to your own self means that you are convinced that it is right.
It is not force out of presentation.
Yes. That reminds me of a very small story. If you permit me, I can share the story with you. And I am 100% sure 100% of you have already heard that story. But let me repeat. There was a small child and his mother was very fed up from him. क्यों? क्योंकि वो गुड़ बहुत खाता था. गुड़, you understand? Jaggery, hard form of jaggery. शक्कर भी कह देते हैं पंजाबी में. गुड़, वो गुड़ इतना खाता था, सुबह से लेकर शाम तक वो गुड़ ही खाता रहता था. So her mother was very much fed up from him and she wanted him to get rid of this habit because this can be leading to many problems later on. And but he was not listening to her. She tried all the ways. Then somebody told her that there is one Sadhuji who has come in our village. He has a solution for every problem. Why don't you take your child to him and he will cure him from this problem? Okay, she goes to him and he asks her that what is your problem? She says that my son eats lot of good. वो जैगरी बहुत खाता है. तो गुरुजी ने कहा उनको, जो महात्मा जी थे, उन्होंने कहा कि you come after 15 days. I will give you a solution for this problem. So the lady went home and after 15 days she went back to the saint and the saint said to the child, बेटा गुड़ मत खाओ, ये अच्छी चीज नहीं है. ज्यादा गुड़ मत खाओ. This is not very good for you. And the lady went home and she noticed that the boy had stopped eating that amount of good. But she was, having a conflict in her own mind. If he had to say only this sentence to my son, कि ज्यादा गुड़ मत खाओ, वो पहले मेरे को 15 days पहले वेट कोई करवाई उस लेडी ने. So she again goes to that saint again and ask कि आपने यदि यही बात कहनी तो 15 दिन पहले ही कह दी थी. वो कहती बीबा पहले मैं भी बड़ा गुड़ खांदा सीगा. Are you getting my point? I can ask anybody to do a thing which I can do it myself. I can practice. I have a conviction in my own heart, that conviction. And when Gandhiji said leave foreign goods, wear khadi, people left foreign goods and wore khadi because Gandhiji himself wore the khadi. Why we don't trust our leaders in spite of their very good speeches on the radio and all? Because we feel that they are not practicing, having that conviction. Conviction ka matlab I am practicing myself also. Okay, so this is what the presentation is talking about. How deep the meaning is of the Yeats. Now the fourth one, the last quotation is in my introduction part. Better to keep your mouth shut and appear ignorant than open it and remove all doubts. Mark Twain said, better to keep your mouth shut and appear ignorant than open it and remove all doubts. Now, I again want to let us go to one center, ma'am, this time and ask what does it mean? Maybe we can go to any center. This is the Jaipur. My friend said Jaipur. Can anybody explain me the meaning of this quotation by Mark Twain?
दूर करके बोलो ना, क्या बोलना है, मैं समझा ही नहीं. क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं? देखिए कह रहे हैं आपको क्या सुनना है, लाइन से वो समझा दें.
I want to know the meaning of this, especially in contrast with the presentation skills.
Hello.
Hello, Hanji, Hanji. Yes, yes, sir, we are able to listen to you. आपको से क्या मैसेज मिल रहा है?
हमें अपने माउथ को सेट रखते हुए अपने डाउट्स को रिमूव कर देना चाहिए.
No, somebody else want to say something else. Okay, ma'am, you want to say something?
आगे चले जाएं.
हमें अगर किसी भी चीज में डाउट हो रहा है तो वहां पर उस चीज को इग्नोर कर देना चाहिए, बजाय सबके सामने अपनी डाउट्स को क्लियर करें अपन, क्योंकि कोई चीज जो अपन को समझ नहीं आ रही है तो वो हम उसको ढंग से समझा भी नहीं पाएंगे. जहां तक मुझे लग रहा है कि कहना चाह रहे हैं.
Okay. To save the time, let me clarify it a little further. You know, if I do not know my subject, यदि मेरे को किसी चीज के बारे में मालूम नहीं है, if I keep on speaking on the topic, okay, I can keep quiet about this. There are two choices. Okay, just want to say something. Delhi.
Hello. Sir, can you hear my voice?
मैम अपना
you are not understanding, you are not very clear what you have to say, so you choose to remain silent. Then in that case, people will only assume that you are ignorant. But suppose you open up your mouth and you say that you speak.
मैम आपकी आवाज ना बहुत इको कर रही है, अपना एक्सटर्नल माइक छोड़ दीजिए, यूज द लैपटॉप माइक, सिस्टम के पास आ जाइए और वहां आके बोलिए. आपकी आवाज ना इको कर रही है, आपको वहां पे स्पीकर लगे हुए हैं तो उसमें आवाज इको कर देता है.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, that's better.
Sir, I was saying that in a situation when you are not sure or confirmed about a certain topic and you choose to stay silent, then people will only assume that you are ignorant. But if you choose to speak up, people will get this idea very clearly कि आपको वाकई में नहीं आता.
Oh, very good.
May I, sir?
We would like to close the discussions now. Let me summarize what we have discussed up to now on this quotation. That if you do not know topic and you keep your mouth shut, आपको टॉपिक के बारे में नहीं मालूम और आपने कुछ बोला भी नहीं उसके बारे में, people have a illusion whether you know or do not know. यदि आपको टॉपिक नहीं मालूम और आप उसके ऊपर बोल रहे हैं, जो उनका illusion था, जो उनका भ्रम था, आपने तोड़ दिया. Now they know that you do not know. So better to be quiet, accept your internally accept that I do not know about it and do not present to the people. Okay, so this is a very important thing in the presentation. Do not befool yourself in the presentation. Now I have tried to summarize all the 4 quotations here of W.B. Yeats, G.B. Shaw and Mark Twain. Preparation and practice is the key to the presentation. Preparation and practice. There are no shortcuts to it. Then good communication is very important. It should be good communication. Then conviction. You should be having conviction within your own self. What I'm going to present is true to the best of your knowledge. Then be substantial. Last quotation में क्या था? Be substantial. If you do not have the substance, keep shut. Keep your mouth shut. Be substantial. Now, what makes a good presentation? My whole lecture is on, session is on this. Let us try to find out what makes a good presentation. Divide into groups. Wherever possible, divide your audience into different groups. If I'm talking to civil engineers, my examples will be different. If I'm talking to the elderly people, if I'm talking to children, if I'm talking to males only, if I'm talking to females only, if I'm talking to only Punjabis, if I'm talking to people from all regions, if your presentation will be different then. As far as possible, divide into groups and then make a presentation. But luckily in the classrooms, you have same age group, both genders, and all from the same branch. So your job is half done. But in many situations where there is a variety of people, try to divide the people into different groups and then address them according to their situations. They should be able to relate what you say according to their own situations. If you are not able to relate to their requirements, then whatever good the presentation may be, you are only speaking a language there. They are not able to relate to their life. Then understand what makes a presentation good. We are going to explore further on this. Understand it very well, that what makes the presentation very good. There are certain things to be thought about. What are those things? Number one is presenter. If you are the presenter, think about it, that I am a presenter. What should be my both verbal and non-verbal communication? Then the resources available to the presenter. Be aware of this, that I am going to have a whiteboard, I am going to have a laptop, and I'm going to have a mic system with me. I am going to have this. Whatever the resources are available to you, kindly be aware of that, and be aware of the requirements. That if this is a group, I am going to require this. All right, and if I'm going to do exercises, I require so and so things also. Be very well prepared for the resources also. Then structure your presentation very well. Structure. What should come in the beginning? What should come in the main body of the presentation? And how you want to conclude your presentation. Structure it very well. First comes first, second, then third, point by point, elaborate upon your presentation. We'll be talking about all the three aspects. I want all of you to focus on this particular slide. The presenter, the resources, the structure. We have just now mentioned about that. You see on the first slide, left-hand side, top. I have deliberately taken this picture to show you how a presenter should look like. In a formal setting, his clothing and his posture, the level of his chin is very important. How you are dressed up, and the distance you maintain from the rostrum. How effectively you use the rostrum. All right. I will just now share with you some of the examples here. The rostrum or the podium or the stand which you are having here also, 9 out of 10 of us make mistakes on this. The rostrum is not for you. The rostrum is for the material you are carrying, if you are carrying any material. If I'm carrying a watch, if I'm carrying certain notes, whatever material you are carrying, if I'm carrying my spectacles, I can put my spectacles. But I have seen 9 out of 10 people use rostrum as a resting place. वो you can show ऐसे करके. Some of them this, and some of them they hold it very tight. ऐसे सारी presentation में उसको पकड़ के रखते हैं कि यदि मैं इसको नहीं पकड़ा तो ये कहीं चला जाएगा. Now I have seen people using the rostrum in a very different fashions. But remember all the time that rostrum is only for keeping certain articles, just to assist you, and you have to maintain a small distance from the rostrum. And if possible, you can ask the organizers, the person who are providing the rostrum, if you want to read some material from the rostrum, sufficient light is on the rostrum. Though sometimes the hall is in the dark and your stage is also not well lit, and you want to use the material, ask the organizer to put a small table lamp on the material which you are carrying with you. But never lean on the rostrum. Never ever do this mistake. You will find your presentation will start going better and better. And dress up properly. On the dressing sense, I like to only say one thing. I am wearing a tie and a coat today and a shirt. Can I go to an athletic ground and run a race with these clothes? I will be called by the coach and told that you are inappropriately dressed. बाहर हो जाओ. ये leather के shoes पहन के आप नहीं जा सकते. From my tie to my shoes, he has objections because I am not appropriately dressed for my tracks in the athletics. Can I come my track suits and my walking shoes or my running shoes in the classroom and give lectures? A big no-no. Isn't so? So be conscious of the occasion, as per the occasion, dress up accordingly. I am not going to give you a lecture on that because in the non-verbal communication, we say your attire, your dress up, your everything speaks volumes. All right? So you have to be according. जैसे मैं एथलेटिक ग्राउंड में ये कपड़े पहन के नहीं जा सकता, सिमिलरली मैं एथलेटिक ग्राउंड के कपड़े पहन के क्लासरूम में नहीं आ सकता या किसी भी फॉर्मल सेटिंग में नहीं जा सकता. Let us be. It is okay to be little overdressed than underdressed. In the name of looking cool, आजकल बड़ा फैशन है ना, cool नहीं लग रहा, मैं ना ड्रेस पहन के मैं टाई पहनी हुई है, I am not looking cool. In the name of looking cool, you try to make yourself not that presentable. Ma'am said in the morning 55%, and your attire, the way you dress up, the way your postures and gestures are, your shoulder pulled back, your chest little out, your chin little at level, not like this also, not like this also, but at a particular level. Chin is very important aspect of your postures and gestures. Gestures are your hand movements and all, which you should be sporting and complimenting. Over gesticulation also can affect your presentation. आप कई मैंने देखा तो बड़े अपने हाथ ऐसे से करते हैं, that distracts the audience. It should be natural and very subtle. Okay. Coming about the resources, another source which we have provided is normally microphone. Again, 9 out of 10 people make mistake in using the microphone. I will tell you, demonstrate. I have a microphone here. No, it's all right. Suppose I am having a public address system and I am using the microphone here. My friend, you can come in the front. आप इधर आ जाइए. आप आगे आ जाइए. 9 out of 10 again people make mistakes how to make the use of the microphone. As we have learned in the previous session, when we have to speak out something, we are breathing out. You cannot speak out while inhaling. जब आप exhale कर रहे हैं, सांस बाहर निकाल रहे हैं, the articulators, they do something and then you make certain sounds. आपकी breath जो है बाहर जाती है with the certain restrictions of your articulators in your mouth. All right? Is it clear to everyone? Now, what happens is when you are making sound, certain amount of air goes unrestricted. वो बिना आप कोई साउंड प्रोड्यूस किए भी वो सांस की बाहर निकल रहा है. If I am using mic like this, वो जो आवाज है मेरी, जो सांस unutilized air है, that will be caught by this microphone and you will listen. And 9 out of 10 people do like this. They keep the microphone level just in front of this thing and the microphone is catching your sound of your breath. It is highly recommended and it is accepted phenomena by the professional presenters that keep this in the level of chin. Keep the level of the mic always in the level of the chin. our sound waves can travel and it can catch that. In the breath, the unutilized breath is now going over the microphone. Understood? So, how to use the public address system in a hall? Always, if you are the speaker, kindly do that. If somebody else is speaking, kindly adjust the level of the microphone at the level of the chin, in line with the chin only. Okay? With me on this? You will never do a mistake now when you know this very well, the science or the reason behind it. Why I'm giving you reasons is because with the reasoning, it will stay in your mind that I have to use this. Now, the PowerPoint projection system is another tool with you. इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें हैं PowerPoint presentation system में. I will be going in details about that. But let me say at this moment that in India and in many countries, in many situations, you should not be totally dependent on PowerPoint system. This is your plan A. In any presentation, you have a plan A that I will make a presentation, I will do this, I will do this, I will use this, I will do this. Your plan B should be also ready. By chance, I go there, no blackboard. I wanted to explain, I have prepared my presentation in a way that I will make this diagram on the blackboard, I will do this, I will make use of this PowerPoint system. But then light goes off. उसका बल्ब सड़ गया वहां पर. बल्ब सड़ सकता है ना, कुछ भी हो सकता है. Over dependence on the technology. Now we are totally in this setting, we are totally dependent on the technology. But then if you are totally dependent on the technology, kindly make sure that you have the alternatives. You have the what you call as another system. If I am dependent on this, let me have another laptop ready. If it goes, I have a solution to that problem. Plan B is ready with me. Or if it is not there, I can make a presentation orally without making use of my audio video layered source. Why not? And then structure the presentation. If there are more than one person in a presentation, it's a case in many of the industries, especially industrial presentations, they have more than one person. If there's a team of people, in the team, somebody has done some job, somebody has another job, somebody has done job, especially in the students also, when they make the project presentation, they try to, let us say if you give 20 minutes, for 5 minutes student is speaking, for 5 minutes another student is speaking. Let there be a sync. They should be in sync with each other. It should not appear that they are in competition with each other. They are complementing each other. With me on this? Many times in a group, in a team, when they are making a team presentation, they should structure it very well and they should synchronize within themselves that there is no distraction from the presentation. It is just like that A person knows little more on that particular part of the presentation and B person knows little more than the other people in that part of the presentation, but they should be in a continuity. Continuity should not be broken. And to maintain the continuity, they have to be in sync with each other. जैसे कि टीम आपकी होती है ना हॉकी में भी, each player is trying to help each other to goal. But if each player is trying to impress that I am the only player, then you can never make a goal in the hockey ground. No, this is what the whole thing is about. And how to structure a presentation, we'll be talking about that in details. Now, before I go further, let me share with you some ethics of being a good speaker. Very simple things, but we often forget about these things. So I thought that let me include this slide in my presentation here, that what are the ethics of being a good presenter. Simple things. Number one is, you cannot say, कल मैं टूर से वापस आया था रात को 12 बजे, मेरे को ये हुआ था, मेरे को वो हुआ था. Before you make a presentation, you try to say, मेरे को kindly excuse me if I am not able to give you that kind of a presentation. No. Your audience is nothing to do with what had happened to you yesterday or day for yesterday. आपके पेट में दर्द था, आपको ये हुआ, आपको वो हुआ. No. You prepare very well, or you tell them, okay, I will not give presentation today. But Generally speaking, you should be prepared very well. Be prepared. Okay? Then be accurate and honest. Whatever you present, to the best of your ability, try to gather the facts and figures and the concepts and be accurate and be honest in declaring your sources also. For example, I could have very easily come down to the 5th slide before I gave you the 4 slides, the quotation by G.B. Shah and Twain and Yeats. कि ये 4 चीजें मैंने माइंड में रखी है. But I thought that it will be honest on my part that who has given me these ideas. Are you getting my point? That does not mean that my knowledge has decreased. I have been trying to only honest with all of you that Yeats said so and so, so and so, so and so, and it has a greater impact on you. Instead of having, many of us have a feeling that if I declare my sources, people will feel कि इसने सारा कुछ किताबों से लिया है, यहाँ से लिया है, अपनी तरफ से तो कुछ बोला ही नहीं. We have this fear, but I am telling you, if you declare your sources and be honest in sharing that I am taking this information from so and so people will appreciate that. Instead of having a feeling that people will not appreciate that, people will appreciate, and this will also give you, give the audience a chance to explore further. For example, I have now quoted 3 authors, G.B. Shah, Mark Twain, and W.B. Yeats. Some of you might be having now a spark to know what G.B. Shah has said further on this. You'd like to, I am trying to instigate you to read G.B. Shah or W.B. Yeats or Mark Twain. Isn't so? So it has so many purposes.
When we select some quotation to substantiate a thing.
Yeah.
Then that is also innovation.
Yeah. I take the strength of another person that so and so has said this. I am also saying you this thing. You get strengthened by quoting a good quote. Anyway, be accurate and honest in sharing whatever you are going to share. Then reveal your sources. Again, coming by the same. Give credit where it is due. Be on time. The ethics says your students should be present before you come to the class. But since the students are not present in the class, you cannot be late as a presenter. Are you getting my point? You have a feeling that the students to time se aate nahi hai, main ko time se jaun. No. I say ethics says students should be before you in the class, even if they are not there in the class, maybe due to cultural problems, due to any problems. You cannot afford to be late in a presentation. You lose the whole credibility when you are late in the presentation. Okay, you should be on time. Be on time. This is the ethics of being a good speaker. Now, I have been laying a lot of emphasis on preparation. If you see the on the right hand side, the picture here, when, who, what, where, and how. Keep these questions in mind before you go to the presentation. For whom? Who is my audience? What do they want? What are their, where they are located? And why should I make a presentation? Rational. Why should they listen to me? What is the reason? Why should I explain them? And time, be time conscious. Okay? And how I'm going to now make a presentation. Preparation में ये चीजें जुड़ी हैं. Preparation is the key. Key message. Normally, in classroom situation, it can be different, but normally in a presentations, there is always one key message. Your whole presentation should elaborate and develop on that key message. Your audience, in any communication, audience, the target audience is very important. To whom you are addressing. Then the time, resources. We have talked in details. I will not go in the details of this now. Then close and conclusion. Your beginning and your conclusion, both are very important. Your beginning when people are in a mood, they are expecting something, give them at that time. Beginning itself. Okay, what you want to say, say. All right. They have in a full mood to listen to you. Most of the audience. Then towards the end, some of them in between the presentation might have distracted their mind somewhere else, but you try to gather all of them together and try to conclude again what you have said. Try to summarize and conclude what you have said. Okay. So conclusion. Preparation is the key message, audience, time, resources, and how you are going to conclude. What we call as punchline. Your conclusion should be a punchline. That leaves a everlasting impressions on the people. Now I have talked about the structuring, the presentation, and the checklist. Structure के बारे में बात करते हैं अपन हम अभी. As I mentioned, there should be 3 sections of your presentation. How you structure them. Number 1 is introduction. Number 2 is the information or the main body of the presentation. Number 3 is recapitulation or conclusion or summary. Okay, this is how we structure every presentation has 3 parts. Recapitulation is very important. In the end, how you conclude or summarize your presentation. Prepare everything you need in advance. I have mentioned about it largely, so I will not go in the details again now. Check on the day that everything works. आपने किसी को बोला कि मैं आपके यहाँ लेक्चर देने आना हूँ, उस दिन थोड़ा सा पहले जाके check it out for yourself. Is this working? Is this working? For example, the first day when we came to this hall, so number of programs have been done on ICT in this hall. This particular system, laptop, was not accepting the pen drive. So ma'am had to do certain firefighting on this, and then it was now accepting the pen drive. A small thing, a small error can be here and there, can be a big problem. Check on the day that everything works. आपके lighting ठीक चल रही है, ये चल रहा है, chalk है, duster है. I remember first time when I delivered lecture in UP state as a lecturer. I'm talking about long back, maybe in 84, 85 की बात है ये. 1985. I packed up my everything, and a senior professor was to accompany me. I was a fresh lecturer, and a senior faculty member was accompanying me. तो उन्होंने कहा कि प्रमोद सब कुछ डाल लिया आपने अपने पैकेज में. मैं कहा हाँ जी. तो कहने लगे आपने चौक डाल लिए. मैं कहा चौक तो होंगे जी, हम कॉलेज में जा रहे हैं. कहते नो नो नो, कैरी द चॉक्स. मैंने चौक डाल लिए. तो कहते डस्टर डाल लिया. मैंने कहा सर, are you getting my point? His experience was much, and I noticed that many situations. Now when I fill my requisitions before I go for outstation lectures, I put always the whiteboard marker, chalk, duster, everything myself in the requisition slip that for my store here. There may be chalk, there may be, but I am prepared कि मेरा lecture इसके ऊपर depend करता है. And I talk to the concerned local coordinator that kindly provide me a whiteboard which well lit and should not be reflecting this, that. I want to have a PowerPoint presentation. I want to have a generator backup system with the presentation, because I'm going to show them the audio video. My presentations are totally based on this. The other day I was giving a lecture at the Hindustan Aeronautical Limited's. The senior officials were there. So I told them that I require this kind of prompts in my lecture to make the things more lively. So they provided for it. And I made sure before I went to the class, half an hour before, that everything is in order. All right. So this is very important. Now preparing the contents. I have talked to you about the preparation of the whole presentation. Now how to prepare the contents. There are 3 A's. You have to remember 3 A's. Audience, analyze your audience. Define very well what action you are expecting from your audience as the outcome of your presentation. What action you want them to take. For example, in the engineering colleges or in the polytechnics, you want your students to be able to, they should be able to solve the questions in the examination. or they should be able to understand and display those things which you want to understand the concepts very well. And based on their understanding, they should be able to define, they should be able to analyze, they should be able to design, whatever your outcome. So your action should be very clear in your own, the objective, the rationale, the outcome should be very clear when you prepare the contents. If you are very clear about the outcomes of your presentation, it will make a difference in your presentation, my dear friends. So this is very important. Then arrange your arguments. Arguments here means I am against the arguments, but then here arguments means arrange your reasoning, arrange your presentation so that they are able to undertake that action which you want them to undertake. Okay, so analyze your audience, know the outcome of your presentation very well, and then arrange your arguments so that they are able to take that action after that. For example, I was talking to you about the microphone. I want that none of you make a mistake when you next time use this. I understand that all of you are teachers, and on some occasion or the other you will be using microphone. You should not make any mistake. So my argument was there. I gave you argument why we should not keep the microphone in front of the mouth. So your argument, so that action is clear in your mind. Okay. My dear friends, I will not go in the details. There are so many nitty-gritties about these three terms. Let me go to the next one. Oh, this one, last one is very important. Argument mein. Argument mein, I want your attention on the fourth point here. Kindly read it very thoroughly. In your argument, this fourth point, simple. Tell them what you want to tell. Let there be no doubts in their mind. कि कई बार क्या होता है कि हम लोग पूरा का पूरा भाषण दे देते हैं. बच्चे कहते हैं वो कहना क्या चाह रहा था यार. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Tell them you want to tell. आपको उनको मैं ये कहने के लिए आया हूँ आपसे और ये मैं कह के जाऊंगा. Tell them what you want to tell them. Then tell them that you have told. Tell them कि मैंने जो आपको कहना था वो मैंने कह दिया. Recapitulation. Okay? ये चीजें बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. बड़ी सिंपल टर्म में I got this words from one of the very senior professors in DAV College, Chandigarh. He gave me this idea. Very beautifully done. Tell them what you want to tell and tell them that you have told. नहीं तो वो कई बार कहता है आपने पूरा भाषण दे दिया, बच्चे अभी भी ऐसे मुंह आड़ के बैठे हुए हैं, अभी कुछ बताने वाले हैं सब. To tell them कि I have told you. No more. Okay, Roger. Okay. Now I have been talking about the practice a lot, है ना? Practice की मैं बात करी. I know of a person, one of the external experts. There are many of them, all of them their own styles. One of the experts was so very careful about the practice part. She would come to me before a presentation every time, every single time. Sir, मेरा lecture कहाँ पे होगा? वहाँ पे क्या है ये? Can I come one day before? I said, okay. Can you leave me alone for some time in that room? I said, okay. I just peeped in what she was doing inside. She was practicing what she's going to speak next day. And my friends here, Monica and everybody can guess who is that person because she has been coming here. Nowadays, she is not available in the country. But then her presentation was flawless. She practiced it so well. If you can practice your whole lecture beforehand, good. At least part of it, practice it. This will also, help you in coming out of the fears and nervousness. And whatever mistakes you're going to make during the presentation, you are making those mistakes during the preparation time. And you can say that, okay, I'm fumbling here, I'm doing this thing, ye nahi kaam kar raha, ye nahi kaam kar raha. You can overcome that. That reminds me of a very small example. You know the gymnastics? in Olympics, in World Cup, in many national level, international, आपने देखा टीवी में gymnastics, a particular gymnast जब वो अपना routine कर रहा होता है, we call it a routine. Let us say if he has to go on a horse jump या कुछ भी वो कर रहा है gymnastic में, या दोनों रिंग जो डबल रिंग के ऊपर वो कर रहा है काम या पैरेलल बार्स के ऊपर वो काम कर रहा है, the total duration of the whole routine is not more than few seconds. No? कितने seconds का होता है वो? Less than a minute. And how much practice it requires? Have you ever wondered? Sometimes 4 to 6 years of practice to go to Olympic level, my dear friends. For a less than a minute presentation he is going to make in front of the judges there. So that much amount of practice. So I'm talking about the practice here, my dear friends. Don't feel embarrassed about it कि मैं practice कर रहा हूँ मैं. Talk to your colleague, maybe your friend, or maybe yourself in practice. Practice in front of the friends, people, video recording, reviewing, preferably in the venue. If you are able to access the venue, sometimes you are not able to go to the venue, but then if you get the opportunity, go to the venue and practice there. Fix things that do not work, timing, punctuality, and assess how much time it takes to complete the presentation. Practice will also help you in finding out कि कितना time लगेगा मेरे को करने के लिए. Oh, I need to reduce my number of slides. I need to cut away with this. और time ज़्यादा है मेरे पास material कम है. I need to have more examples. I need to have this thing and that thing. No, I have to add exercises. I have to do this thing. All things. If you have not practiced, then you will not know all these things. However experienced you may be, but then practice is very important. I have seen many senior people making presentation, they do a lot of practice. Gets you used to being in front of the audience. Now, let us come to the giving the presentation itself. We have talked about the preparation, practice. Now let us talk about the presentation. We have said it already a number of times. Only a small portion comes from what you say. How you say it is most important. What you say is also important though, but how you say is very important. Postures and gestures. I told you not over gesticulation, but not be like a dummy there. आप ऐसे खड़े होकर भाषण दे सकते हैं पूरा, having no enthusiasm, having no body language, and posture should be very erect. It will help you physically also. Voice modulation. एक ही पिच पे, एक ही टोन पे, एक ही वॉल्यूम पे आप पूरा का पूरा. It is very important that you modulate your voice. Sometimes maybe very loud, maybe sometimes depending on the contents and the emotion of the contents, you modulate your voice. Otherwise, you will find that after 20 minutes, half the class is sleeping. If you will speak on the same monotonous tone. This is very important, my dear friends. However, short of time, you may feel that you are going. I have now already pressure in my mind. I have 78 or 80 slides, but I am still, time is 3:25. Oh, मैं जल्दी सारी slide निकाल देता हूँ. I just starts, my pace of delivering increases. I can increase my pace of delivery, which Dr. Archana R. Singh was saying, 120 words per minute. Yes, we'll come down to that. Maybe one of the slides talks about that, but let me say it here itself. There is a speed by which you can render the words. A normal human being can render something like 135 to 160 words per minute. एक normal human being की क्षमता होती है कि वो 135 से लेकर 130 से लेकर 160 वर्ड्स पर मिनट तक बोल सकता है. ओके, डिपेंडिंग ऑन ईच स्पेस. जैसे मेरे को यदि वहां से जहां जाना है तो मेरी पेस पे डिपेंड करता है मैं कितने कदम में वहां पहुंच जाता हूँ. इफ देयर इज समबडी हु इज हैविंग लॉन्गर पेस, ही कैन रीच इन लेसन नंबर ऑफ स्टेप्स, और ये कैसे भी कर सकते हैं. ओके, ए नॉर्मल ह्यूमन power of understanding, any guesses how many words a person can understand? मैंने बोलने की क्षमता बताई. On the audience side, on the target audience की side में, now you put yourself in the target audience, 400 to 500 words per minute a person can understand. Now there is a gap of about 250 to 300 words.
We let our attention wander away from.
Yes. My dear friends, there is a gap. Ma'am is very accurate. About 350 to 400 words तक आदमी on an average, 500 तक भी समझ सकते हैं जो बहुत ज्यादा इंटेलेक्चुअल है. Now आपकी क्षमता 150 वर्ड तक ही है, 150 वर्ड्स, लेकिन जो आपकी ऑडियंस है उसका माइंड मिनिमम 350-400 वर्ड तो कर ही सकता है. On an average human being I'm talking about. Now there is a gap. Be aware of this gap. As a presenter, that there is a gap between my capacity of speaking, rendering the words, and his capacity of understanding the word. In between क्या होगा? In a minute, there is a gap between you're supplying some thoughts to him, and his mind is actually working very fast. So his mind is going to go here and there. Distract होगा उसका mind, because you are not able to supply that information to that person. Now, in a presentation, in a classroom situation also, in any situation, if you are aware of that gap, you can bridge that gap by some other gestures, some other ways, some other tactics. Either audio video aids हैं, या आपके पास कुछ, besides the words, he's also seeing now your actions or something, or you are trying to keep his attention. Get the attention, and retaining the attention is the very important thing in a presentation. You gather the attention and retain the attention. Everybody has his or her own unique way of how to gather the attention and how to retain the attention. But I will share with you some tips also here. Okay, but never, since I feel that my contents are too many, मेरा syllabus रह जाएगा, मेरा ये हो जाएगा, तो I must rush through my syllabus. In any presentation, please do not rush. Whatever you want to say little, but say it thoroughly. Only if you have covered the basics, good enough. People will be able to read, people will be able to develop on the topic, themselves. But if you rush, that doesn't leave the audience to anywhere. So do not rush. Now I'm going to share with you some public speaking tips here first. Public speaking tips. And as teachers, we are all public speakers. And those who are not even teachers, we at some stage or the other have to do a little bit of public speaking. And these tips will help you out. Breathe deeply. हम इसके बारे में ज़्यादा बात नहीं करेंगे. We have done exercises also on this. Take your time. Don't be nervous. Even if you are nervous, do not show your nervousness to the audience. Take your time, breathe properly, and then सांस फूली हुई है उसी में आप बोल रहे हैं. Public speaking, this is not a very good sign. You will find, or good orators, public speakers, they are always very calm. I am going to remind me around 5 minutes to 4, 10 minutes to 4. I am going to show you a video of a model presentation, a person whom I really admire a lot. There are so many people I admire, public speakers, very good speakers, but I'm going to share with you one video here whom I really admire because of so many things, but especially for his public speaking. He's an excellent presenter. As an example to all of you, whatever I am going to share with you, I have shared with you. Whatever I am not able to share with you, you will see in his example when he's going to make a speech with all of you. Okay? Take your time, test the microphones. You should be loud enough that your audience listens to you. But remember, loud is not always clear. We normally say, am I loud and clear? Loudness is all right, but loudness does not necessarily mean that you are clear also. Your person in the first row should be able to listen to you very well. The person in the last row should be able to very clearly hear you. I'm not using the word listen, I'm talking about the hear. उसको सुनाई देना चाहिए कि आप क्या बोलना चाह रही हैं. So test the microphone level very well. It should be loud and clear, but it should not be over loud. Over loud is more distracting. यदि आपका माइक में इको है या ज्यादा वॉल्यूम है, that is more distracting. It repels the people to leave the hall. For example, if यदि मैं अपने मेरा वॉल्यूम थोड़ा सा ज्यादा लग रहा होगा आप लोगों को, normally in my classroom I don't speak that loud. I test my volumes with my class. Am I sounding too loud? I can go slow. Because over loudness में थोड़ी देर बाद आपका nervous system break होना शुरू हो जाता है. You want to run away. जब हम देखोगे मैरिज पार्टी में यहाँ पे डीजे बहुत तेज चलता है, you want to really go out. आपको वॉशरूम नहीं भी जाना, आपको तब भी जा रहे होते हैं क्योंकि आपको पता है कि 2-3 मिनट के लिए रिलीफ मिलेगा इस साउंड से. You want to talk to a friend, you will go out of the pandal and then talk to a friend. Over loudness is also not bad. It is very, very bad. So test your microphone levels very well. Whom you want to address. आपने neighbors को थोड़ा सुनाना है. Okay. Keep a gentle smile on your face. It should not appear that you are very gloomy. You are very, very sad. But if the emotion or if the contents are requiring to be little serious, do not smile. मैं किसी के डेथ सेरेमनी, कोई डेथ की कोई सेरेमनी चल रही है या कुछ मेरे को उस कंडोलेंस स्पीच देनी है, कुछ करना है, वहां पे मैं स्माइल देना अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकता है. प्रोफेसर साहब ने कहा था स्माइल रखना है. Are you getting my point? Generally, you should keep a smile in the class, in any public speaking, but it depends on the emotions. When it is a serious emotion, you can show the seriousness. And the person whom I'm talking about, if you Google him, some of his famous speeches, he has cried also. During his speech, he shed his tears also. I've seen him crying during his speech also. That also, is a good presentation, I would say. Although I say extreme feelings are a big barrier in the communication. Extreme feelings, extreme emotions are, maybe you're very happy or too sad, can be barrier. But occasionally and very subtly, in a very subtle way, if you are able to use your emotions, that can be helpful. But generally, keep a smile in public speaking. All right? You will find generally, even a singer, if he's smiling, I am a great fan of, for example, Rafi Saab. If you listen to him and see his videos, his face is always smiling even when he is singing. और पंजाब में एक बड़े फेमस सिंगर हैं हिंदी पिक्चरों के, इनकी अभी भी डेथ होती है 10 साल से पहले, नहीं हिंदी पिक्चरों के. इफ यू लिसन टू हिम, क्या नाम है उनका, महेंद्र कपूर. महेंद्र कपूर को कभी आपने लाइव ऑडियंस में सुना? आई हैव अपॉर्चुनिटी टू लिसन टू हिम पर्सनली आल्सो. उपकार के मेरी देश की गंगा सोना हो गले, आई मीन ब्यूटीफुल सॉन्ग्स ऑफ हमराज एंड अदर सॉन्ग्स. आई एम नॉट हियर टू प्रोपगेट महेंद्र कपूर, बट इफ यू लिसन टू हिम live, you will feel that he is not singing, he is only smiling at you. So is the case with many of the good speakers. You don't feel that they are speaking something, you feel that they are just giving us a smile. That really makes an impact on the audience. A good presenter. All right? Don't be dull and gloomy in your presentation. मैं बहुत serious professor हूँ, अपना पैसा से रखता हूँ. That's not a very good idea. That really repels the student. Now, giving the presentation itself now. Clothing, comfortable and appropriate. I always share this incident, this actual incident. Your clothing should be comfortable and appropriate. One of my friends, he was to appear for an interview. I'm talking about the college days. I'm talking about probably 83 की बात है ये वाली, 1983. One of my friends, very close friend of mine, he said कि प्रमोद तुम्हारे पास कॉटराई का कोट है ना एक? मैंने कहा yes. You kindly lend me. मैंने कहा क्यों? कहता कल मेरी इंटरव्यू है. मैंने कहा okay, but you are 4 inches shorter than me. आपको फिट आएगा? Don't worry about it. And he was much thinner than me. मैं कहा तुम्हारे तो बड़ा लूज हो जाएगा यार. कहता बहाने ना कोट दे अपना. And I told him कि यार I was concerned. I was not myself that aware, but now I realize if I am not comfortable in my coat, my whole attention will be on my coat. If I am making a presentation here and मेरा इधर ध्यान है, तो I am not comfortable. Try it out what you are going to wear. यदि मैंने आज नए शूज पहने हैं तो मेरा ज्यादा ध्यान उधर अटैच हो रहा है. फिजियोलॉजिकल बैरियर्स आने शुरू हो जाते हैं आपके. तो बी वेरी कंफर्टेबल. एप्रोप्रिएट के बारे में बात करी एज पर द ओकेजन. एप्रोप्रिएट. मेंटेन एन आई कॉन्टैक्ट while giving an presentation. Maintain an eye contact with your audience. I can give you a formula. This will be V. This is your audience. Making a V with your eye contact. Start with the middle. Middle of the middle. आगे से पीछे से middle person. For example, in this case, Madam Kriti is there. Kiran is there. She's in the middle. Start from here. Go to the extreme left. Gently. Then come to Kiran again. Go to Brar Sahib to the right. And then back to Kiran. Then to front. The back. So that each person in your audience have a feeling that you are addressing him or her. But it should be done very gently, very subtly. It should not be कि आपकी मुंडी इधर चले जा रही है बारी बारी से. प्रोफेसर साहब ने कहा था कि ऐसे करना है. No. Do not ignore, do not let a feeling to any audience come. किसी audience के mind में ये feeling नहीं आनी चाहिए कि प्रोफेसर साहब ने सारा लेक्चर उन्हीं को ब्रार साहब को ही दे दिया. I see many people, पूरा का पूरा लेक्चर एक जगह पे दे के ही दे देती हैं, खत्म कर देती हैं. No, that's not a very good idea. You find a good presenter will talk to everyone, carry everyone in the audience with him or her. Okay, maintain a genuine, very subtle eye contact with each one of the part of your audience. Yes, I am sorry, I am not able to make that kind of eye contact with my audience in the nodal centers, but then I'm trying every now and then. I'm making a subtle eye contact with them also. Then use notes if you need them. Do not hesitate to use notes. It helps them. It helps you to keep your talk structured. Many people feel कि यार मैंने ये notes रेफर कर लिया, लोग मेरे को कहेंगे आपने notes से पढ़ा दिया. फिर क्या हुआ? आपने गलत पढ़ा दिया, उससे अच्छा ठीक पढ़ा रहे हैं आप. Make use of the notes, but do not read from the notes. I am not reading the slides. These slides are helping me in structuring the talk. I can talk to you just like that also. But then these slides are helping me like a notes. But I am not reading from the notes only. But it is helping me structuring my talk. All right. So if you need the notes, don't hesitate to, even if I have to give a small speech in my institute, many times I have to compare many programs in my institute. I always structure it very well and I take a notes of everything. I may not refer to it, but if need be, they're available. Just give me confidence that it is there in my pocket. Then think about when to use the handouts. I've been telling you I will be sharing with you slides. I will be sharing with you lecture notes, but I have not given it to yet. है ना? मैंने आपको भी दिए नहीं ना वो जो आपकी CDs हैं, या I will email all the lecture notes, the reading material to all the coordinators and they can distribute it to the participants. But I am not giving them now. Why? You should know when to use the handouts. If I give you in advance, then you say हमारे पास सब कुछ है, क्या सुनना है हमने? Some of you will absent yourself also even. Or some of you will start reading them when I'm talking to you. I want to have your attention right now. But then certain handouts have to be given beforehand. For example, if I want to discuss a case study, especially in the management topics, when you are teaching through case study method, you have to give the case to the students beforehand. Then you can next day discuss the case. So in that case, the handouts have to be given before your presentation. Sometimes you want the spontaneous test. For example, Madam Mohita has given you the, and Madam Konika has given you test on the spot. During the talk itself, वो उन्होंने जो handouts थे यहाँ पे slides के ऊपर दिखाए आपको, but then it can be in the shape of handouts. When I give lectures, let us say on listening skills, I want spontaneous reactions or spontaneous outcomes of your listening skills. I give the handouts right away, right in the middle of my lecture itself. So you should know, इन्हें पहले दूं तो लोग पहले पढ़ लेते हैं, बाद में देने का कोई फायदा नहीं होना during the lecture itself. So you should know when to give the handouts. But then the supporting and reading material you must refer to. Yes, so that the people, your audience, your students, or whosoever you're addressing to, they have a reading material. They can access that information in your absence also. Now, the first 7 seconds of your presentation, I'm going to share with you now few of the ideas of some of the world's best speakers. Some of the people feel that first 7 seconds are the most crucial part of your presentation. First 7 seconds. 7 seconds is an average length of time you have to make a first impression. First 7 seconds में लोग अपना impression बना लेते हैं आपके बारे में. Okay, even in the PI also, personal interviews में भी. If your first impression is not good, you won't get another chance. But as a teacher, you get another chance. But in many cases, in a public speaking, I don't get another chance if I don't make my first impression very well. It takes 5 positive encounters to cancel out 1 negative encounter. Let's say in my first 7 seconds, in my presentation, I make a mistake. Okay, I am here for 1.5 hours or 1 hour or 40 minutes, whatever time is allotted to me. But in first few seconds only, I make a mistake. That is the first negative encounter. And I have registered in my mind that I made a mistake kar di. Now this will work as a very negative, not only on the audience, but now you are also conscious कि मेरे से ये mistake हो गई. Dampening effect हो जाता है. It will become a hurdle for your rest of the presentation. You keep on correcting that. You keep on correcting that in rest of your presentation. So it is mentioned that you require 5 positive encounters to cancel out 1 negative encounter. Okay, तो वो first, especially in the first 7 seconds, अपने पहले कहाँ से शुरू करना है इसके बारे में जरूर रिहर्सल कर लीजिए. Rehearse your first few. अब आप जितनी बार भी क्लास में जाते हैं, मैंने क्लास कहाँ से शुरू करनी है, if not the whole lecture, at least first 10 सेकंड के, 15 सेकंड के, 20 सेकंड के आप जो लेक्चर का पोर्शन है उसको आप अच्छे से रिहर्स कर लीजिए. Okay, so that you don't leave a bad impression in that. Warm up. Warming up for a presentation is very important again. Warming up. Now, if I ask my friends in the studio or in the nodal centers also, that after half an hour we will have 2-kilometer race. And the minimum time will be, let us say, I give you time of 20 seconds. Okay, we will have a race. Minimum qualifying time is 20 seconds. कि आपको 20 seconds से ज़्यादा जो होगा disqualify हो जाएगा. All right? Or let's say 25 seconds or 30 seconds. How many of you will be able to run the race? Those who are not practicing how to run every day, what will happen to them? 99% of us will develop cramps in our muscles. फिर वो महीने तक ठीक नहीं होते ना. आपने क्रैम्प्स डाल लिए अपने पैरों पे, पिंजनियों पे और सब जगह पे, ऊपर सारी बॉडी आपकी क्रैम्प हो जाती है. You do any physical activity which you are not accustomed to do, which you are not practicing to do, then you will develop the cramps. Now, and even if you have been practicing, warming up is very important. Before you actually start playing hockey, you have practiced a lot, but before the match, you have to warm up your body. If you do not warm up your body very well, then again your muscle will pack up. We use in the sports, we use the word pack up. Your muscles will pack up. वो कहेंगे कि अब मैं और नहीं खेल सकता. In the first few minutes only, your muscle will pack up. To overcome that, you have to do the warming up. So for warming up, the presentation is very important. Some of the things have been covered by Archana ma'am also. It helps you to relax, helps you to be heard, helps you to sound more confident. Warming up करने से. Now, this is the same exercise which we did in the morning. So I will not go details, but this is how the warming up. Deep breathing exercise. In for count of 5 and out for count 5. Inhaling and exhaling, count 5. And then in for 6 and out for 6, then up to 10 seconds. You can count up to 10 or maybe use the watch. This deep breathing will help you in warming up. Try to have some deep breaths before you go to the presentation. I remember one of my professors in PG, postgraduate program in Punjab Engineering College. Before he was to deliver any lecture in our classroom, he used to shut his chamber and say, don't bother me. Then later on, I came to know that he used to warm up. He used to be in that state of mind and physical exercises. And then in the classroom, you have to see how he gives the lecture. This loosens the vocal cords and warms them up. Make it sound like Ma'am in the morning said that this is a verbal virus. I call it a verbal virus. We all have verbal viruses. Make those viruses during the warming up, not in the presentation. जो आपने करनी है पहले कर लो. That helps you in loosening your vocal cords. No? So I said this is loosening your vocal cord. जो आपने अब मेरे को लग रहा है मैं कर लूँ थोड़ा सा. No, I don't have time now to do that. But before my class, I do the yawning, I do everything. Class में खड़े होकर नहीं मैं ऐसे कर सकता ना. So do all that thing before your class, before you go for the presentation. Make hum sounds. And then do some tongue twisters. It helps you in warming up your tongue to articulate certain words. Go faster and faster. And yawn. मैंने अभी कहा आपको जो अपने yawning करनी है, जो sounds करनी है, जो verbal virus है, पहले कर लीजिए आप. So that you are done with it. Don't do it in the present. This is the part of your warming up exercise. जो आपने mistake करनी है हॉकी खेलते समय वो पहले कर लीजिए. मैच के अंदर you don't get the chance. There you have to go for the goal. जो आपने पहले पास नहीं लिया या पास देना है या गोल करना है या प्लान वो मिस्टेक आप पहले कर लीजिए. वार्मिंग अप में कर लीजिए. But there you have to do. Even the gymnastic, even I am 7-time national yoga champion. My yoga teacher used to tell me that जो आपने आसन कर रहे हैं इतने सालों से प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं लेकिन on the day of the competition you do the warming for 2 hours. For half an hour my routine in the competition I used to practice warm up myself for 2 hours so that my body is now settled. My body is flexible. It is able to endure all the things which I am going to do it in my final presentation. Similarly, I gave you example of gymnastics also. They do a lot of practice warming up. Similarly, in the presentation also. Besides the mental exercises, physical also. certain tongue twisters. We will not go in the details. So I normally do this exercise also in my class when we do. Now, context of understanding, my dear friends, context of understanding. I told you there are few things very, very important in communication. Your context. Be contextual in your presentation. Do not go too much out of context. For example, I am talking to you about the sport, about the yoga, about this and that, about Mahinder Kapoor song. मेरा सारा बाकी का गान जो टॉक है वो महेंद्र कपूर के ऊपर नहीं होनी चाहिए. It has come in a context and leave it there. Sometimes you get carried away, you go out of the context and your audience is bored. Or even if they're not bored, they may be interested, but then your learning outcomes have not been achieved. What you want to say, what you came to tell them, you have not told them. If you go out of the context. This is another aspect of context, ma'am, what we were talking about. We think at 500 to 600 words per minute on an average, and we speak 150 to 225 words. People like Devanand, who was habitual of speaking very fast, would be able to. I am also habitual of speaking a little fast. In my class, I tell my students that I speak a little fast pace. You slow me down. You don't understand. But then, on an average, 150 and 225 words are there. Understand the gap, grab and maintain the attention so that the mind doesn't wander. Normal attention span time is 17 to 20 seconds. Know this context very well. चाहे आप जितने भी इंटरेस्टेड हो लेक्चर में, आपका every student, every audience, sitting audience, 17 से 20 सेकंड बाद उनका माइंड कहीं ना कहीं और जाएगा ही जाएगा. यस, आप कभी भी ट्राई करके देख लीजिए. आपने अभी मेरा लेक्चर सुन रहे हैं, 2 दिन से लेक्चर सुना रहे हैं हमारे स्पीकर्स भी. हाउ मच आई मे बी टॉकिंग अबाउट, आपका माइंड 15-20 सेकंड बाद कहीं ना कहीं जाता है. आई ट्राई टू गैदर इट बैक. So if you are aware of this context of your mind, your state of mind, put yourself into your audience mind, and then I know कि आपका mind कहीं और गया. Let me get it back. Let me do something that you are back to my class again, to keep on getting the, understand this context of your audience very well. How to get the attention. Getting the attention is very important. Why are you doing what you are doing? I will give you an example. The time is running out. Let me go a little quickly now. But then you must ask your audience why they are sitting in my class. Rational, the purpose of your audience of listening to. Why should I listen to so and so leader? Why I'm listening to the TV? TV में मैं वो उसकी भाषण क्यों सुन रहा हूँ? मेरा purpose क्या है? Why are you doing what you are doing? Ask them. Be aware of their needs, their interests, their aptitude. When I said in the beginning, analyze your audience. Why my audience is here? Know their needs very well. And can I give something, a value addition to what they are doing? Then they will be interested to listen to me. My presentation will be effective only when I am able to help them or some value addition of doing what they want to do. Who do you want to become? आप क्या बनना चाहते हैं? Often ask this question to your students also. Why not? What do you want to experience in your life? Is my presentation is going to help you in that experience? I want to be a good engineer. I want to experience this. My teaching this equation can help you in reaching that experience. If it's yes, if you're able to convince, they will be interested to learn that equation. Otherwise, they will not be able to appreciate why you're teaching them partial differential equations or any ABC topic. I just took the name of partial differential equation. When do you want to get there? Fix a target for the students, for the audience. Okay, कि कब आप वहां तक कब पहुंचना चाहते हैं? How do you think you can get there? You want to have a placement in so and so company? Yes? How do you think that you can go there? This lecture will take you there. Get the point, man? This is what the whole trick of presentation is. You want to come out of grief because of some mishappening. My condolence will help you in overcoming that grief. Why not? You analyze your audience, their state of mind. I'm talking about the placement to the normal position in the classroom. You are overstressed. Through my lecture, I want to reduce your stress. Okay? And how can I get you there? How do you want to feel about it? Now, in this slide, I have highlighted a word with a yellow letter. What is that? You. All your presentation, my dear friends, be empathetic with your audience. Place yourself in the shoes of the audience. Talk in terms of you, not in terms of I. You will never go wrong in your presentation. मेरे को ये आता है मैं पढ़ा देना है. No. They need to know. That's why I'm teaching them. Okay? And they do not know that they need to know. So I'm telling them before I tell them what to teach, that they need to know. So that they realize the need to know. All right? Are you with me on this? So that is what it is. Talks in terms, all presented in terms of you, not in terms of I. We will not go in the details. Modulation helps you. Walk around. I am forced to sit in the front of this thing, but normally you should walk around with the student. Sometimes near one person, sometimes walk around with the student. ऐसा भी नहीं हो कि आप सैर करते रहो. All things should be not overdone. There has to be balance in everything. Very subtle way में आप गए उधर बात करी किसी से इधर करी उधर करी. Anyway, move around. Ask question or have the audience fill in the blanks. This will help them in retaining the attention. प्रोफेसर साहब ने कभी भी क्वेश्चन पूछ लेना मेरे से क्लास में. उन्होंने कभी भी मेरे को जो भी मैंने अभी तक प्रेजेंट करा है या नहीं प्रेजेंट करा है उसके बारे में मैं आपको एक हैंड आउट दे रहा हूँ. आपको फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स भरने हैं. सो ऑल द टाइम द स्टूडेंट्स आर गियर्ड अप के प्रोफेसर साहब अभी भी मेरे पास आ सकते हैं. हम देख रहे हैं मैं क्या फिगर बना रहा हूँ, फूल बना रहा हूँ या उनके नोट्स बना रहा हूँ, या मेरे को भी क्वेश्चन पूछने वाले हैं या fill in the blanks देने वाले हैं या क्यूज देने वाले हैं. So this can help you getting the attention of the students also. Starting the presentation. Now coming to the start line. Be introduced wherever possible. Ask somebody to introduce you. If there's nobody, introduce yourself. Relevant to the topic. I may have 10 things at my credential, but what is relevant to my talk, that part must be introduced in the introduction part. Use attention grabbers. There are certain ways, certain recognize attention grabbers, use them. I will talk about that. Establish rapport with the audience. Decrease the distance between yourself and the audience. अभी हम last time lecture करा था. After the lecture, we were having some comments about Archana, ma'am, and some of you said that we've never felt that she's talking something very, very big and she's unapproachable. A very big professor in the Punjab University as a senior professor. She developed immediate rapport with and many times you have touched me not type of professors also. Touch me not type of speakers. Oh, he is a very big person now. Create a transition into your main topic. Start, give a beginning and slowly build up on your arguments and take them there. About establishing a rapport, I am being reminded of a professor in IIT Roorkee. I happened to go there for a 1-week program and one of the experts came. He came during the tea time. His lecture was immediately after tea time and he shook hands with each member of the audience. There were 30 participants and he shook hands with each one of them. And very quickly, he developed a rapport with each one of them. Just in 15 minutes, tea break. And when he came to lecture, we felt that he is one among us. Are you getting my point? Through the physical contact also and through your mental contact also, Develop a rapport with your audience. Be with one with them. What should the introducers do? If you are the introducer or somebody else is introducing you, how it should be done? Welcome everyone and create an excitement. Welcome everyone in the audience and create an excitement. Today I'm going to talk, our session is going to be on articulation and pronunciation. How important it is, how thrilling it can be and useful to you. The introducer ka role hai ek. Okay. Welcome everyone and create an excitement among the audience to be ready for listening to the speaker. Then give a brief bio or introduction to the presenter. List the speaker's outstanding qualification related to his or her topic. Then generate applause. Let us give a big round of applause and welcome so-and-so. And state the speaker's name again and give, you can say, please give a warm welcome to so-and-so. Or say, let us give it up for so-and-so. I leave the audience to so-and-so. A very brief thing, 3 steps only. Okay. Some of the attention grabbers can be, start with a story. Yes. Startling facts. Suppose I have to give a lecture on treatment of water. Very dull subject, no? Chemical equations पढ़ाएंगे प्रोफेसर साहब. Treatment of water. क्या होगा? पानी आया अनट्रीटेड, उसमें ये केमिकल डालना है, ये आपने उसको ये प्रोसेस से लेके जाना है, ये आपने उसको क्लोरीनेशन करनी है या आपने उसको रिटेंशन करनी है, जो भी उसके प्रोसेस है. Now, how can I get the attention of my students? I tell them that do you know that only last week 350 cases of gastroenteritis was registered in PGI and 2 deaths occurred due to polluted water they drank. Now they are interested to listen. And I am going to talk to you something by which those 2 deaths could have been avoided. You got the attention of the startling fact. Fact है ये. ऐसा हो गया, रेलवे के 2 एक्सीडेंट हुए. I am going to talk to you now 2 important things in electronics by which we can actually avoid the railway accidents. The sensors. You're going to talk to them sensors anyway. But startling facts से आपको पता चलता है कि पिछले सालों में इतना कुछ हो गया या इतने सारे फाइटर एरोप्लेन की ये हो गया वो हो गया. And now we're going to talk to about the your radar technology or ABC technology. Okay. So these are the attention grabbers. Then quotations, as I did in this lecture also. Dramatic gestures. I've seen people who are expert. One of our person in the ETV department, when he gives lecture, I will not name him here, but he is very good in gesture listening. The moment he comes on the stage, his gestures get the attention of the people. Then rhetoric question. Yeah, you know it well. Rhetoric question, a question which can, make the people feel that they want to listen to the speaker. Maybe a joke also. I have seen many of the commencement speeches given by topmost people in the world, in the topmost university, starting with jokes. For example, I have heard Steve Jobs giving his commencement speech at Stanford University in 2005. I have that speech with me here. If time will permit, in these next 2 days, we will listen to that speech also. He started with a joke. Similarly, J.K. Rowling, he wrote the जो आपका Harry Potter's का novel. She also was invited once in Harvard University for a commencement speech. She started with a joke. This gets the attention of the people, attention grabbers. So joke can also be there. Then reference to a current topic can also be. My dear friends, I will now not cover all the things, but let me go to the slide, and I want to give you the Okay. I want to give you the video also. Kindly bear with me for next 15 extra minutes today. We'll go around 4:15. I want to give you a video of the speech, but let me tell you about how to handle the questions first of all. About the slides, keep your slides big enough that everybody in the audience is able to see it. Do not overcrowd your single slide. If you have more material, split it into more number of slides. Instead of putting everything on single slide in PowerPoint, try to put it in the 2 slides, 3 slides, 4 slides. And the heading should not be less than 36 size font. I recommend 44, but 36 से कम नहीं होना चाहिए. जो आपका running matter है on any slide should not be less than 24. I recommend 32 personally. And the contrast of the colors. Avoid using gray colors. Keep the slides simple. Do not overcrowd. Do not put so many figures and everything ताकि आपके लोगों के content that becomes a distraction. Okay? And when you animate, जब आपकी slide आ रही है, तो sometimes slide ऊपर से नीचे घूम के आती है, कुछ ऐसे करके आ रही है. That also is a distraction. I try to have a simple, either left to right or from bottom to top. Do not use right to left and from top to bottom. Okay? Certain rules are there. I will be supplying you the information. You can read them. But more importantly for me is, here is, finally, my dear friends, enjoy yourself. The audience will be on your side and want to hear what you want to say. If you are enjoying your presentation, if you have the conviction and you feel enjoying, your audience will also enjoy. Technical knowledge is not enough. One must transcend technique so that the art becomes artless and growing out of unconscious. Making the simple complicated is in common places. कोई आपकी simple चीज है, आप उसको complicated तरीके से present कर रहे हैं. Normally it happens. Making complicated simple, awfully simple, that is your creativity in the presentation. This I wanted to share with you. And simplicity is the ultimate of sophistication. This is one of my most favorite quotes. Leonardo da Vinci said that simplicity is the ultimate of sophistication. Make sure that you have finished speaking before your audience finished listening to you. You remember the first slide now? First slide मैंने आपको क्या कहता है, आपका टारगेट क्या होना चाहिए? Cheerful and audience. आपको पता लगे कि आपकी ऑडियंस तो सारी फ्लैट होगी. My dear friends, go for it. Thank you very much. But something is tickling me to share with you one slide. I told you I will share with you. I have not shared with you how to reply the question. If you do not know the answer of a question after your presentation, use ABC. This helps you in the personal interviews also. I can't answer. The first A stands for I can't answer your question because you should have a reason why I'm not able to answer your question. Be genuine in giving the reason because so and so. But I can tell you what you know about, you can tell them. Now, this is the ABC formula. In any presentation, do not pose that you are master of the things. You may be knowing, you may not be knowing, but whatever you know, you tell them. So ABC formula should be remembered by all of you. So friends, this brings me close to my presentations here. Before I go for the video, any questions from my audience in the studio or from the nodal centers? Ma'am, can we ask maybe one of the centers any questions in their mind on how to make a good presentation? Any one of, in the meantime, any one of you want to ask any questions? Okay, yeah. Let us go to one center, maybe City College chalte hain. City Polytechnic College, Jalandhar. My friends, any questions from your side on how to make a happy presentation? Madam, come closer to the system, please. अपना external mic बंद कर दीजिए और get closer to the laptop.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Sir, we all were listening to your session very enthusiastically, and we have understood the things, and practically we'll try to implement the things. Thank you so much for your session. It was great, and we are learning a lot. Thank you so much, sir. No questions from our side.
Thank you very much. I request all the nodal centers, coordinators, if there are any questions, kindly email me. Let us use another any questions we can have over the cup of tea. But let us now see that video of about 7-8 minutes, a example of a good presenter. And some of you might have already listened to the speech. It is given by Barack Obama, ex-president of USA. It is his speech on winning the election, his first speech after he won the election. And the title of the speech is Yes, We Can. I really enjoy listening to him. I have listened to him maybe more than 50-60 times, but every time you learn a lot.
There will be setbacks.
Let me test the volume.
And false starts. There are many who won't agree with every decision or policy I make as president. And we know the government can't solve every problem. But I will always be honest with you about the challenges we face. I will listen to you, especially when we disagree. And above all, I will ask you to join in the work of remaking this nation the only way it's been done in America for 221 years. Block by block, brick by brick, calloused hand by calloused hand. What began 21 months ago in the depths of winter cannot end on this autumn night. This victory alone is not the change we seek. It is only the chance for us to make that change. And that cannot happen if we go back to the way things were. It can't happen without you, without a new spirit of service, a new spirit of sacrifice. So let us summon a new spirit of patriotism, of responsibility, where each of us resolves to pitch in and work harder and look after not only ourselves, but each other. Let us remember that if this financial crisis taught us anything, it's that we cannot have a thriving Wall Street while Main Street suffers. In this country, we rise or fall as one nation, as one people. Let's resist the temptation to fall back on the same partisanship and pettiness and immaturity that has poisoned our politics for so long. Let's remember that it was a man from this state who first carried the banner of the Republican Party to the White House, a party founded on the values of self-reliance and individual liberty and national unity. Those are values that we all share. And while the Democratic Party has won a great victory tonight, we do so with a measure of humility and determination to heal the divides that have held back our progress. As Lincoln said to a nation far more divided than ours, we are not enemies, but friends. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. And to those Americans whose support I have yet to earn, I may not have won your vote tonight, but I hear your voices. I need your help, and I will be your president too. And all those watching tonight from beyond our shores, from parliaments and palaces, to those who are huddled around radios in the forgotten corners of the world, our stories are singular, but our destiny is shared. And a new dawn of American leadership is at hand. To those who would tear the world down, we will defeat you. To those who seek peace and security, we support you. And to all those who have wondered if America's beacon still burns as bright. Tonight we proved once more that the true strength of our nation comes not from the might of our arms or the scale of our wealth, but from the enduring power of our ideals, democracy, liberty, opportunity, and unyielding hope. That's the true genius of America. That America can change. Our union can be perfected. What we've already achieved gives us hope for what we can and must achieve tomorrow. This election had many firsts and many stories and will be told for generations, but one that's on my mind tonight is about a woman who cast her ballot in Atlanta. She is a lot like the millions of others who stood in line to make their voice heard in this election, except for one thing. Ann Nixon Cooper is 106 years old. She was born just a generation past slavery, a time when there were no cars on the road or planes in the sky, when someone like her couldn't vote for two reasons, because she was a woman and because of the color of her skin. And tonight, I think about all that she's seen throughout her century in America, the heartache and the hope, the struggle and the progress, the times we were told that we can't, and the people who pressed on with that American creed, yes, we can. At a time when women's voices were silenced and their hopes dismissed, she lived to see them stand up and speak out and reach for the ballot. Yes, we can. When there was despair in the Dust Bowl and depression across the land, she saw a nation conquer fear itself with a new deal, new jobs, a new sense of common purpose. Yes, we can. When the bombs fell on our harbor and tyranny threatened the world, she was there to witness a generation rise to greatness and a democracy was saved. Yes, we can. She was there for the buses in Montgomery, the hoses in Birmingham, a bridge in Selma, and a preacher from Atlanta who told the people that we shall overcome. Yes, we can. A man touched down on the moon. A wall came down in Berlin. Our world was connected by our own science and imagination. And this year, in this election, she touched her finger to a screen and cast her vote. Because after 106 years in America, through the best of times and the darkest of hours, she knows how America can change. Yes, we can. America, we have come so far. We have seen so much, but there's so much more to do. So tonight, let us ask ourselves, if our children should live to see the next century, if my daughters should be so lucky to live as long as Ann Nixon Cooper, what change will they see? What progress will we have made? This is our chance to answer that call. This is our moment. This is our time to put our people back to work and open doors of opportunity for our kids, to restore prosperity and promote the cause of peace, to reclaim the American dream and reaffirm that fundamental truth that out of many we are one, that while we breathe, we hope, and where we are met with cynicism and doubt and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America.
Well, friends, were you able to listen to it? Sound के volume enough था आपके लिए? You can actually listen to this again, maybe borrow it from me, or maybe you can see it from the YouTube also. Excellent speech, isn't it so? What a beautiful public address. And he was not only heard by the audience sitting in front of him, thousands of people, but as he said, the people across the borders in their parliaments and in their palaces were also listening to him, and so much critically listening to him. Each and every word, each and every expression has to be perfect. When American president is making a speech, or when our Indian prime minister is making a speech, he is going to be heard by all over the world. When I am going to make a speech in my class is going to, as you said, 80 eyes or 80 ears are going to listen to us in the classroom also. Very, very critically and everything. We have to be well prepared and all. Thank you very much, my dear friends. This brings us to close the session. And thank you so much. Don't hesitate in that. Good for you also.